welcome to another episode of Just Some Points. How I hope you're as excited as I am about the snow falling again. Catherine, what do you have for us today?
So this week I'm going to talk about the app Clubhouse. So it's relatively new and it's an invitation-only audio chat social networking app. It originally launched in March 2020, but it's been steadily growing more and more traffic in the last few months. It's super exclusive because it's invitation only, so you have to be invited by a current user. But in the last month, there's been about 2 million weekly users already. So it started out mainly just with celebrities, and it's just been growing more and more people. So within the app, users have the ability to, it's drop-in audio chats with other users of the app. So the users can create a room that people can listen into the room as a fly on the wall. So you can have conversations with people, like interviews. It's almost like having a live podcast that people can listen into on the spot. And then people that are listening into could raise their hand to join into the conversation if they're allowed to. So it's definitely really interesting, and it's just another one of those platforms where you can interact with people. I see a few benefits for, like, it could be used for like celebrity interviews, or like I said, if people want to stream their podcast live. And also it's an app, so if you want to like listen into like a webinar or the interviews on the go, you can just take your phone and plug it into your car or whatever. But since it is invite only, it is limited to the people that can use it. And there are also a couple similar platforms being developed. Like I heard that Twitter is making a similar type of chat room within the Twitter platform. So I think that people using Twitter would be more likely just to connect with their followers right in the app rather than a separate app.
Yeah, I read up about it too, on it as well, and I think they're actually smart making it exclusive at the moment, making it people, for people to decide what you want to join. Every user has only one invite, so it's not that you inflate invitations.
Right.
So, but I'm sure they will open it up very soon. I think it's their way of actually also making it more interesting to join. I'm not sure, it remains to be seen how successful Twitter will be. Obviously, if something is successful in social media, people will copy it. But we've seen that with Snapchat, where others took over similar functionality, but it's still not Snapchat. Based on what I've seen from Clubhouse is somebody said it's a mix between messaging, conference call, and Zoom. And I think what those platforms have ahead of others is they just rethought the whole interaction from scratch and said, which is always different than adding it on to, let's say, a Twitter or to something else. So it will be interesting to see. It will certainly impact what others do. I do think we will see Clubhouse actually succeed. They have already valuation of $1 billion.
I saw that.
And they're profitable, so they will build on that. And I think also, to your point, to use celebrities to keep it in the news makes it very interesting. 2 days ago, I just read that Elon Musk suggested to have a conversation with Putin from Russia. So those are things, and on Clubhouse, this is how you make it really desirable. So it will be very, very interesting. I think this is prime for education, for any educational spin or conferences and stuff like that. I think all the trends in the conferencing and the digitization, I think they fit right into that space.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Melissa, what's new this week?
This week I learned that YouTube is going to be launching a new feature next month called YouTube Shorts. And it's basically this feature is to rival TikTok and Instagram Reels because YouTube is introducing the vertical format 15 seconds or less videos into their search algorithm. And it's probably going to take a very similar approach to Facebook and Instagram, where you see like the stories and these like reels and these 15-second videos at the top of your feed. And then there's like your post feed underneath it. Um, it's going to have the same editing features, the multi-segment clips, where if you have something that's longer than 15 seconds, you can create a short series of them. You can add music and camera effects. So obviously this is a direct rival to TikTok and Instagram Reels because we've seen the growth of that, over this past year, just phenomenal growth. Um, they actually first tested this in India starting in September of 2020 last year. And they saw in the first 3 months of using shorts in India, it was huge. Like I think the use of it tripled over time. And now they have about 3.5 billion daily views of these videos in India.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it just goes to show that this vertical video format is now the most engaging, type and format to reach your audience, no matter what platform you're using.
yeah, and they started such a powerful and from such a powerful position. I'm sure they will succeed with that as well. It's like I don't know if you're a heavy YouTube user. I am, and I get lost in it sometimes. And boom, another hour is gone by just going down the rabbit hole on YouTube. And I think this will just keep people even more engaged, especially people with short attention span, and just keep you in.
Yeah, exactly. I think, YouTube has never incorporated vertical format videos before in their history. So knowing that YouTube sees the value in it really shows that this is definitely here to stay.
Wow, interesting. Okay. I want to talk today about, it's not let's say, the news of the week, but there was a study, I read a study about the role of marketing and marketing officers in corporations, and how their importance increased, and the position in corporations improved for marketing and marketing officers since the pandemic. And I think it has to do, it also showed in the study, it really had to do with, partially to do with the fact that corporations had to rethink everything since the pandemic hit. They had to fight declining revenue, but also had to serve the customers new, how you reach out to customers, how you talk to customers, new processes in healthcare, especially. We know this is everything changed. And because of that, they needed the chief marketing officer, the marketing departments to help because they had a better understanding that, let's say, the operational people in our organization. So I think 72% of chief marketing officers said that their role improved or increased in a company. And I think the report also said it would be interesting to see what's happening afterward, let's say in a year from now, if that is changing again. I hope it is not, because I think if corporations and businesses think that um, they just default back to strategies from before, it's not going to work. I think the smart companies, and we talked about that many times last year, um, the smart companies now focus on, start thinking already, okay, once life normalizes, what will remain, what will stay, what will change? Everything, in my opinion, everything will drastically change again, not back, but change again, taking what happened in the last 2 years or year and a half and modeling with what will happen in the next year and a half, and something new will come out. So I think companies have to continue to be on their toes, and figuring out what they want to do and what they should do, especially, with the positioning. In that trend also is that a lot of companies have brought more digital marketing functions in-house, which I thought was interesting. And then another trend, we reported on that a year ago, and the trend continues to build on. 72% or 78% of companies expect major investment in digital technology, meaning technology platform software packages that help them with the digital marketing. And because there's such a heavy investment in digital marketing and the technology related to it, there are new very tight relationships and positions forming in, especially in bigger corporations, and that is on the intersection of IT and marketing. I would say historically, IT and marketing were not two departments that had a lot to do with each other, and that is changing. The whole digital marketing scene. So we see the chief marketing officers and the chief information officers all of a sudden creating strategies together where they talk about best platforms, artificial intelligence, data mining, data analysis, and all of those things. There's all in the intersection between IT and marketing. So there's some really interesting trends, and my message would be, for large companies, continue to embrace the change and be aware that you have to continue to work on it. For smaller companies that don't have chief marketing officers or CIOs, work with companies like us, or work with your marketing department and incorporate them in your day-to-day decision making and strategy development. And you see this too, that especially the two of you guys, you use, what could you do without the systems? Your life is all within systems, right?
Yeah, exactly. We, just train ourselves every day on like what's new, but also just training yourself on these systems and just knowing every single detail that you can pull out of them.
Right. Again, almost every other month, we find a new software that we at least look at. And so is it worthwhile to use that, and you can automate a lot, you can learn a lot. So. Okay, that concludes another episode of Just Some Points. I hope you thought it was interesting, and see you next week.